History often remembers the fall of Rome as a single cataclysmic day of fire and barbarian steel. But the truth is far more complex. The Western Roman Empire didn't simply vanish. It dissolved over 2 centuries of gradual institutional decay and individual rational choices. At its height, the empire was a marvel of the ancient world. 70 million people lived under one government, united by roads and laws. Massive aqueducts stretched across valleys like stone giants, delivering water to cities that buzzed with the energy of global commerce. In the capital, senators in pristine white togas debated the fate of the world, while merchant ships crowded the bustling Mediterranean harbors. But the question isn't what destroyed Rome, it's who stopped caring. The collapse began not with a bang, but with a silent withdrawal. Economic stability was the first to go. Look at the currency. A pristine gold solidus once represented the absolute trust in the state. But as the centuries passed, the gold turned to debased silver, and eventually to thin copper coins with worn-away faces of forgotten emperors. By 117 AD, the empire reached its maximum extent, stretching from the rainy hills of Scotland to the sun-baked plains of Mesopotamia. The empire ran on legitimacy, not just loyalty. When that legitimacy shattered during the crisis of the 3rd century, the foundation crumbled. In just 49 years, 26 different men claimed the throne. Most were soldiers who seized power only to be murdered by their own. Generals began to realize that the real prize wasn't defending the border against barbarians, but marching their legions home to seize Rome. Diocletian tried to save the system in 284 AD by splitting the empire and freezing the economy. He turned the state into a fortress. His edict on maximum prices attempted to stop inflation by law, but the market ignored him. His grand design collapsed within years. Then came Constantine, who made a fateful choice. He moved the capital east to Byzantium, renaming it Constantinople, facing the wealthier Orient. The West was left behind. Its tax offices grew empty, and its cities began to shrink as the central government could no longer pay. By 400 AD, the Roman army didn't even look Roman. The best generals were now Germans and Goths, the very people Rome once fought. Even the great Stilicho, the barbarian general who protected the West, was eventually executed by the very emperor he served. Trust was gone. Britain was abandoned. Spain and North Africa fell to invaders. The Western Empire was bleeding out, losing its tax base province by province. Local senators realized it was easier to negotiate with a Visigoth king than to pay ruinous taxes to a distant, powerless Roman emperor. August 476 AD marked the end of the line. The imperial capital wasn't even Rome anymore, but the swamp-surrounded city of Ravenna. The last emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was only 16. He was a boy king holding a title that had become a meaningless ghost. The final act was a polite letter from the warlord Odoacer. He told the East that the West no longer needed its own emperor. In Constantinople, Emperor Zeno accepted the news. The Roman world ended with less drama than a modern budget negotiation. Life went on. Under Odoacer, the Roman Senate still met. The laws were the same. The bureaucracy still hummed in the background. In Gaul, a lone official named Syagrius held out for a decade, calling himself a Roman while surrounded by the expanding Frankish kingdoms. The Western Empire was a memory, but the East was just getting started. It would endure for nearly another 1,000 years. Roman law, the Latin language, and the Church all survived. The state was dead, but the civilization lived on in the hearts of its successors. Every king in Europe for the next 5 centuries would try to claim they were the true heir to the glory that was Rome. Today, we walk among the ruins and wonder how it fell. It didn't fall because of one enemy. It fell because it stopped being useful. The story of Rome is a reminder that empires don't always end with a scream. Sometimes they end with a whisper. Thank you for watching History Republic. Subscribe to help us keep these stories alive.